Happy Thursday, everyone out there. I hope you're having a good Thursday. It's nice and bright and sunny here. So yeah, it feels like the worst of winter for a little bit has blipped over. Hey everyone, thanks for joining in. Nice to see you all. I had a very hard time today getting down for the live because I was buried in computer work and it felt like a very big switch from one way of thinking to another. So if I'm a bit slow getting started, it's just my brain is still processing some technical problems he had up there. So I'm probably not the only person that happens to, where just sometimes the switch doesn't always happen very seamlessly. But we've got a couple of things again happening this week. It seems to be a really busy January. I can't quite believe that we're only a couple of weeks into January because just so many things have happened and it's been so busy. So this week what we're doing is, let me turn around down here. See those first few bags? There's some postage bags down there. And we're getting started shipping our Seasons Club out. So we said tomorrow was starting, but we've got the first few bagged up here and getting ready to go out the door. So they'll be going over today, tomorrow, and the start of next week. Well, so Louise, you're minus 17 Celsius in Toronto and lots of snow. Yeah, very different from here because we almost went down to freezing last night. So I quite like when it does go down to freezing overnight and it's just kind of bright and sunny. Cold and dark, that's not so good. But if you've got sunshine, it feels really good. But yes, so Seasons Club, they're shipping out. I can't show you what's in there, but I can show you some of the packaging. These are the little packs that'll go out. This one here is the little goodie treat. And this is all of the yarn. So anyone who's partaking in the Seasons Club, you're going to be getting packages with these in it in the next couple of weeks in the post. I'm from Calgary. That's Cecily. Hey, how are you doing? So that's what is going out. And then because we should be finished by midweek shipping them all out next week, by the end of next week, I'm going to get the pattern up. So not next Thursday, but next Friday, I'm going to release the pattern for the Seasons Club. And I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. This time it is a single pattern, but there's 2 variations and 2 samples made up in it. So it's kind of like 2 patterns within one. The basis of it's the same, but they look quite different, the 2 of them, depending on which option you choose. And normally I don't knit those samples myself, but I was really, really enjoying knitting the yarns, so I just couldn't really resist. So I actually ended up knitting both of them. So if you're in the Seasons Club, you're in for a treat with that yarn. It's great fun. That is one of the things I am very much enjoying about the Seasons Club, is I get to try new yarns and I get to look around and dig around online to find really interesting yarns to try. So it means that the whole process is as much fun for me as it is for you. So thank you for anyone who is in the Seasons Club, because you're giving me kind of a little treat as well, because I get to try out these new yarns and test it out and do the patterns in it, which is a lot of fun. So the other thing that we've had come in during the week is, let me find it here, a few bits and pieces, mainly in Notion. So on the website, you'll be able to kind of pop in and find some of these. I've been getting a bunch of new buttons. So we've got some wooden ones here. These are actually quite pretty. They're kind of a shell on one side and then black-white detailing on the front. Kind of little speckled ones here and slight variations in speckles here. So we've put all these up on the website now. They're slightly bigger. The ones we had up to this point are 20 millimeters. These ones kind of are 22, 23, 25, so a little bit bigger, so more useful for slightly heavier yarns and things like that. And while we were at it, also went ahead and got just another general purpose scissors. It's actually got a nice weight to it. This particular scissors feels good. And something that we had a personal request was Tunisian crochet hook. So it's just a knitting needle on one side, crochet hook on the other side. So don't ask me too much about these because I am not a crocheter, but we have had somebody in a couple of times asking us for them. So I've got some and I've put them up They may not be up on the website yet, but they will be shortly if you've been looking for Tunisian crochet hooks. I was just looking at some comments there. You like my sweater? What am I wearing? I am wearing Dolmite, Dolmite. And you can't quite see it, but one of the parts that I like the best in this is the hem. So I might step back a bit. Here you go, because it's front down here, and then when you come down with the back, it splits, and you pick up stitches so that you actually kind of have this little flare at the back. So it makes it particularly good if you like to wear kind of leggings or kind of tight jeans and stuff. It's a bit more kind of tunicky, or if you don't want to do that and you just like this detail up here, you can just make it a bit shorter. But it's if I remember correct, I know it's a blue sky alpaca yarn, and it was a brushed, I think it was a brushed alpaca, so it is extremely cozy and warm. Elsa Louise, yes, it is. Those ones were for Tunisian crochet. I'm not a crocheter. I know it's when you pick up all the stitches at once, so you've got them sitting on what looks like a crochet hook but works it along. But I haven't worked it myself. I've only done very basic crochet. But if anyone's interested, give me a shout, because Ava, who did the beginner's crochet course for us on Teachable, I know she does an awful lot of Tunisian crochet, so I wouldn't mind actually seeing if I could get her to put a basic Tunisian crochet class up there, and I could learn the basics. So if people were talking to me about them, I'd have some idea what they were on about. But it does create a beautiful effect, Tunisian crochet. She does it for a lot of shawls and things like that, so it would be pretty different visually than standard crochet. I think it looks a little bit closer to knitting, really. So they are the new things up on the website. And the other thing we have up on the website is I'm just in the process of putting together and launching our mystery shawl knit along. It took a little while getting it together this year, because I had so many different yarn options that I wanted to experiment and try them all. It seems to be a running theme these days, is that I want to knit everything. This time round, because I couldn't decide on the yarn combinations and I want to see what they looked like, I knit the first one up myself, which I'll show you. The next one, I did the first section, so when I was showing examples within the class, within the workshop, I had knit up to another section. And on the third yarn combination, I had a sample knitter knit up. So all three combinations that I will be putting up for the mystery knit along are in fact have all been sampled, so I kind of know how they work and how it goes together. So if you haven't taken part in one of my mystery knit alongs before, unlike my garments, I always show you what you see is what you get. There's no surprise, you know exactly what you're going to be knitting. For shawls, I think people are more often likely to take a chance, because you're not worried about size, and because you're going to be wrapping it around yourself and it's not going to fit you exactly. And also it just means that, you know, you can actually keep it a mystery as you're working along. So hang on, I've got a question here from Elsa Louise. Do I have the samples for the Fall Seasons Club? You want to see the cowl? Actually, interesting, Elsa. I don't know how it managed to happen, but it's just down here at my feet. So let me just grab that cowl. Here we go. You were curious to see the cowl for the Fall Seasons Club. And this is I think it was Bruite, B-R-U-I-T-E was the name of this. No, beg your pardon, no. Bruite was the name of the mitts. And the cowl here used a single background color, and then each of these other ones where it was just a matter of, these are slip stitches, and then you do cables crossing across like this. The inside part was a folded hem with the I-cord running through two eyelets in the front here, and folded in and zipped in. Was there something in particular on it, Elsa Louise, that you wanted to see, or you just wanted to see the color combinations? So it uses 4 colors altogether, your background one, and then 1, 2, 3 different ones that gets repeated up here. And you can kind of take your pick for whichever ones you want at the top. Got a little muff here, but it works pretty well because of the drawstring as a hat as well. Surprisingly, you can just kind of slip it back, and if you've got longer hair, you can just do the drawstring around it. So yeah, but if you had another question on that else, Louise, just pop it up there and I'll answer it as I kind of go through it. So with the back to the mystery knit along, it's going to be called Quilted Feather, and it just kind of describes the end effect of the two yarns playing together. So the two yarns you've got a slightly heavier kind of fingering light sports weight yarn for the main color yarn, so that's kind of the background. And then there's a second lighter weight, kind of lace weight or heavy lace weight, fluffier yarn that's going to be the contrast color that a lot of the pattern stitches is worked in combination with it. So for that I've used either Cumulus, which is a brushed alpaca silk blend, or where are we here, or Cabrito, I'm still learning the name of this, which is also a brushed yarn, but it's a mohair. This one is a mohair polyamide mix. So both of those create the same effect of the two together. So when you're picking yarns for your mystery knit along, you want one main color for the background that will contrast with the other one on top. So usually that's best by having, you don't necessarily want a matching yarn, you want one that's slightly jarring because you want the stitch pattern to stand out. So, but yet to have enough, oh, here we go. So this is the first sample I made, was these two here. So this was the Gloss Delight, which is the main color, and this is Cumulus, which is the brushed yarn, which is going to, it's kind of a heavy lace weight, and so that one is going to be the pattern stitch working through it. And the two of those, you can see the color combinations, they've got a nice little bit of pop together, which means it really stands out, and the contrast in the types of yarn helps that as well. So the shawl itself is a pretty decent size. It's about, I think it's about 62 inches by the time you're done with the main span of it, and it's a semicircular shawl knit from just the middle section outwards. So I thought I'd give you a general idea, because I know sometimes people, there's particular shapes they're not crazy about. And I'm up on Ravelry, I've just made it live, but of course when you buy it now, all you're getting is an information PDF, and you get a link where that you can add yourself to the workshop. So as with any of my knit alongs, the price is actually a really, really good deal at the start, because it's just slightly above a pattern price, but you're actually going to be getting all of the video workshops as you go along. Normally the video workshops are going to be sold separately as another product. So this way, by actually jumping in at the start, you're getting the two bundled in together, because when you get that pattern, you'll have a code that you can access the workshop for free. So there's that initially, and then the pattern kits themselves are going to be coming out on Sunday night. So if you're on my newsletter, I'll be sending out information and details on the different pattern kits for you, and that's going to go live at 8 o'clock on Sunday night for the kits. But for now, the patterns are up and you can get the patterns straight away. So we're going to I had gone through these a little bit again before. Again, this is the other second option that I was going through when I was knitting it within the actual video workshops itself. This is one combination I was trying out. So this is your main color, your Fino, and then this one here was the contrast color on top. This had slightly less contrast because they're very much in the same color family, even though the tonals are quite different. This is going to give a more subtle effect. So it still looks good, but it's not going to be as bright as the previous option I showed you. And this one quite surprised me, because it had one of the brightest pops, which didn't seem like it was going to be. And I think it's because this is so dark. So this is the Fino in Admiral. So it's a kind of a real rich royal blue. And this is the Cabrito, and it's in the butternut. And the two of these together are actually kind of magical. So this, I liked it so much, in fact, that we got the sample knitter has got the other one pulled through here. Do I have suggestions for swatching to see if the yarns you pick will work? I think you can probably just even do kind of just some light stripes of the second one through to see how they pop up. Maybe even try a couple of little slip stitches, because obviously the actual stitch pattern itself is not going to be released until the first clue. But even kind of go by some of the combinations I've put up to kind of and see if you're on the right track for it, really. But I think that if you have the yarn weights correct, Ideally, one fluffy, one plain, and then a really big contrast in colours. You should actually be fine, I think. Riverview knitting, you love it. Oh, good. But yeah, just the swatching I've suggested is for the main colour, just doing a stockinette stitch swatch, because most of it is going to be that with the pattern stitch kind of worked across it with this. So this is going to really determine if your gauge is correct. So just a stockinette stitch gauge with the recommended needle size in this to see if it works for you is going to be the best way to make sure that you're going to get the size that you want, really. But if you have any more questions about that, just pop them all up there. And if you're in my newsletter in the next couple of days, I'll be getting that out with all of the details. So thank you for listening to my babbling today. And it was good talking with you. And I'll give you a bit more details about the knit along next week. And then probably it's too early to share the Seasons pattern next week, but the week after I will show it to you. So, but all right, bye, thank you.